So welcome to Find It. It's been a minute since we've had a live one, and we have one tonight. And I have Maria Cunningham with us this evening, and I can't wait to have a great, candid conversation with her. I told her we'll just snuggle up on the sofa and act like two girlfriends having a great conversation about life and where are we now and how in the heck did we get here? That's a little bit of the topic. And you know me, we may veer away from that a little bit, but she'll be right back with us. But I wanted to read what she wrote. She's like, I've never really written a bio, but I'm going to write, and this is great. So she said that Maria is a believer, a dreamer, a chef, an entrepreneur, a food artist, and a grandma. She's chasing beauty, love, and trusting God to bring about his will for the next chapter of life. So, wow. Can't wait to have her sit on the sofa, talk to you, talk to me. Make sure you let us know you're here. And if you have any questions or you have thoughts, join in. Now we're going to show our intro, and Maria will be right back with us. Oh, we're here. So glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so I got to tell you guys how this all started. I had called Maria a couple weeks ago now, right? Mm-hmm. And I am going to have this book signing on May 10th here at the shop and the studio. And so I was like, I want to have it catered. I mean, it's the day before Mother's Day. Let's treat ourselves right. Let's have the best food. So I called her to make sure she was available, and she was. Well, as we were talking on the phone, I was like, it went way away from food. Like we
definitely did.
Right. We established, right? Okay, I'm available.
Did.
And then we went into all I don't know how long. Do you know how long we talked on the phone? It was
over an hour.
It was over an hour. I thought it was at least an hour. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to have her on my podcast. Like, I know we can't recreate what we said on the phone, but we will be fine with whatever turns up, because I know I was enthralled in that conversation. Same. I was moved. It was amazing. So here she is. I'm like, would you mind being on the podcast? And she's like, sure.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So some of the things that we were talking about, just about life and how, and I thought, gosh, when we're younger, I mean, we're so young. What are we talking about?
We're doing great.
We're great. But when we're like little girls and you have an idea of what your life is going to be or what your dreams are versus then where you end up, and sometimes you have to shift and regroup. We didn't talk about this on the phone, but when you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I think that I always wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
I really loved my babies, and we used to have these pine trees by my house, and I would play in the pine trees, and I would play house and sweep the little pine needles away. I was obsessed with being a mother, but really I think I always wanted to be a teacher.
And so, but then, those are the things you wanted to be. I know you're a mother. Mm-hmm. So, but then were you a teacher?
I'm not a teacher.
Okay.
But I am a teacher because I have taught cooking classes, and I've worked with kids programs for the city schools and stuff like that. So I think I am a teacher and to a degree.
Well, every mom is a teacher too.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
absolutely.
That's our main, we create this little human being, and then everything we teach them, they then go on and take in the world. And then I got to tell you, then they start teaching us, right?
That they do.
I have learned a lot about myself through them too. Yes. It's like, oh, you're right. It's not always good.
I know.
What we've learned. But I just felt so connected to you in that conversation. We've known each other for quite a few years. Yeah. I can't remember was it through Keys to Success?
Yeah, you came into my shop and offered me advertising.
Yes.
Yeah.
And were you in the old Schlegel building then? Or
no, I was on 2nd.
You're on 2nd Street.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what you do now, and then we're going to go backwards a little bit. Okay. So right now, tell them what you're doing.
Right now, I'm taking small events for close friends and family, just enjoying grandma life. We have a new granddaughter who is 14 months old, and I'm obsessed with her. So I spend most of my time doing that. I kind of have these thoughts of I need to just start giving grandmas information.
Yeah, I know. I no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had kids in my kids are
older,
grown. Yeah. Right. So I haven't had babies in my house. Everything's different.
Yeah.
And
It
there are
really
so
is.
many things that I didn't realize.
Oh my God.
Like you should have
Oh
a
my
baggie
God.
with you at all times.
I can't believe I'm going to tell myself, but my niece knows what I did on accident. I went and picked up my great niece then, okay, because my niece, to take her to Paper City, have lunch, bring her to the shop, let her play in here and everything. Well, I pick her up. It's been a long time since I've had a little kid, right? So I pick her up and I go, "Are you allowed in the front seat?" She's like, and I was like, "Oh no!" Belted her in and took off. Halfway there, I know I'm gonna go to jail. And so she's like, almost 5, I guess. So I look at her and halfway there, I kind of look at her and she's like, and I was like, "You're not supposed to be in the front seat." "I know you're not. Oh my God, don't tell your parents." I'm like, I got to tell them what I did. So then she was in the back seat on the way home. But I'm like, it's so crazy that, I mean,
they have to be in a car seat until they're like 80 pounds or something.
Yeah, and she's a feather hind end. Like she's a tiny little thing. And I'm like, all right, strap her in. I mean, I have freaking.
You can see the cheesy smile.
Yeah, yeah. And then halfway there, when I'm looking at her, and she's just a little too excited to be in the front seat. So I'm like, Aunt Debbie sucks. Oh my God. I mean, it was so bad.
She probably will remember that for the rest of her life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I know her parents will.
Aunt ever.
They're probably like, I don't know if Aunt Debbie can handle it taking her. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. But I told him, I said, I am so sorry. Like, I gotta like,
yeah, because she was definitely going home to tell them.
Oh, you know,
100%.
Oh, like
she's gonna be like,
oh, I was like, "Dad, gone." I couldn't believe it. So yeah, and okay, so baggies, you got to remember.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that I didn't know.
Forget, though. Yeah, even the things you used to know. It's like,
well, and you also have to respect somebody else's way of parenting
that's
as well.
True too. Yeah.
So I always ask her mom, like, should I do this or can I do that? I would just normally give my kids a medication or whatever, but you really have to be respectful of
100%.
somebody else and say, okay, like, is Tylenol okay?
Yeah, that's true.
That kind of thing.
That's true. And even with your granddaughter, you're going to be respectful of that. Like,
absolutely.
I get that. But, yeah, it's funny. So you being a grandma and you don't look like that's possible. Right. She's beautiful. You guys, you are so pretty. Oh my gosh, you're gorgeous. Right? Well, you are really good looking. But I can't believe you're a grandma. But knowing that now here's the thing. Like for me, when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be on Broadway. I was like, I'd watch those old movies and they would be the dance tunes and all that. And I'd be like, that's what I want to be. But ultimately, the most joy I have found with anything I've done has been in motherhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it really is. And I mean, I'm not going to be a mom again. That's done. So I'm still seeking out what else brings me that kind of joy. Nothing will compare to it.
Of course.
But I'm doing some things.
Yeah.
So it's fun to talk to you about. I'm doing fun things.
I mean, I'm in the shop and she keeps saying, Stop looking.
She came in and she's like,
I'm like, oh, I think I need this bag. And she said, oh, but we have to focus on this podcast. Okay.
And by the way, I'm so excited that this is your first podcast. Yes. That shocks me too, because you just seem so, I don't know what it is. So what took you down the path of becoming a chef?
I mean, if I'm honest, I really don't know. I just feel like God gave me a gift that I didn't even realize I had.
Okay.
It really actually is just, I love to entertain and to care for people. I've always felt most valuable, I think, with that.
So you like to feed people.
I love to feed people.
My mom's love language is
I love to feed people. Like, I just want to care, you know, and I love a beautiful anything, And
a beautiful display. So in her bio where it says, basically the artistry of displaying food, creating food. I want to talk a little bit about that because I do know this. I've been to places where she has put her magic together. If any of you, hi, Christy Mallow, hi, Sissy. I see some people piping in. I have been places where you have had, it was you that was there. Let's just put it that way. I love it. And the food tastes so good and the quality is there. And talk to me about why. And why you don't believe in just slapping some chicken wings down. Not that I'm not a fan of like some fast food every once in a while, but you tell us about how you feel when you present and you make the food for people.
there's just something special about the way that you interact with people with your art. And for me, food is art. It's just the medium that I've chosen. And you start to, when you see something beautiful, your eyes start to, recognize, oh my, that's going to taste good. And then your olfactory system, like the smells, is the most prominent in your of all of your senses. So all of those things like have to come together to find that beauty and intrigue when it comes to food, much like a painting.
Yeah. So have you, okay, so I want to talk about the quality of the food that you use too and why, because you're very into
whole food, real food. I make everything from scratch. I don't buy anything from a truck. I don't use any.
And we're going to have this on May 10th. We really don't want to talk about Debbie's book, but we want to come eat Maria's food. That's fine. So do I.
I want to talk about Debbie's book though. I'm excited for Debbie's book as well. But yeah, it's just, my son had, my youngest son had some health challenges at a young age. And I started researching whole food. We went gluten-free at that point. Shortly after, I had a family member diagnosed with celiac. So I started sort of discovering food in that regard, and, kind of going into the holistic side of food. I wish
I could kick gluten. I need to remove gluten. Like
my
daughter
has. Well, this is the thing. Your daughter's celiac?
No, she is. She can't have gluten or dairy, but she's not celiac.
Okay.
She's just
She's sensitive.
She gets really sick. She's had to go to the doctor, and it's bad.
Well,
throwing up.
Yeah, she very well could be celiac, and maybe just not be tested.
She's had the tests, but I don't know.
Like the scope?
No, she's not been scoped.
Okay. So that's different.
That would make her say, just forget it. I won't eat it. Just don't give me the scope.
So same for me. I realized that over time, I think that I had the same sort of health issues.
Okay.
Just didn't realize that I was actually having those. I just attributed them to something else all of the time.
So like
nerves or, stomach aches or, just feeling really bloated and gross after eating, or not feeling feeling really full after eating just a small amount. And that will happen, if you're sensitive to gluten.
Okay.
So I I was kind of discovering for him and, adapting recipes to feed him and then friends. And then I've always loved to bake, and baking is dreamy, and I
like to eat the baked goods. I don't necessarily like to bake them, Maria.
Now see, I'll bake them for you.
That's the gift.
Okay.
I mean, that's what's so amazing, that we all have our things that fill us up. So you then realize, okay, being a mom, being a teacher, and then also your love language is to take care of people with maybe feeding them good food and whatever. And then to be able to take your creative side and also display and make it into art. So it looks good. Have you ever had a cake that it looks stunning, but then you take a bite and it's like, but your food looks good and tastes delicious.
Thank you.
And that's where we're at. But the whole food, so no matter what you're eating, that you make is going to be also good for you.
Yes, absolutely. I don't use any seed oils. I make my own dressings. If I don't make something myself, for instance, bread, I buy the best that I can find.
Okay.
I buy as many things local as possible.
So do you get gluten-free bread?
No, not for an event.
I
certainly could do.
And I have never tasted a gluten-free bread that I even like. I think it all tastes nasty. Have you?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had a gluten-free bread? Maybe you've never even tasted gluten-free, but Tori will always get a roll if they have gluten-free. And I'm always like, you can have it. It's like a puck. It's like a hockey puck.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It isn't.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that you get used to.
Yeah, and then she also can't have dairy, so then there's not any good stuff.
And I have a nut allergy, and I do limited
So
dairy,
does my son.
And I'm gluten-free. So when you go to a restaurant,
you and my kids can go together. My kid, it's so funny. David and my kids will order something at dinner. when we're out all together, and they're like, oh, wait, he's allergic to nuts, peanuts too, and he can't have
Same.
avocado, can't have, all the whole thing, because he has a latex allergy as well. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
Sweet Mary.
Then Tori's like, I can't have dairy, I can't have gluten, and they're like, what about you two? I'm like, we're fine. We just produce kids that can't eat nothing. So, you know what I mean? And so they always get their plates delivered with those little sticks in it.
Yes, same.
I always take pictures.
I'm always like, oh, I hate coming to eat.
Yeah.
So I go to places that kind of cater to that.
Yeah.
I really love So Plated.
Yeah, we go to So Plated.
So Plated is one of my favorites.
Yeah, do you go on Lane Avenue?
Yes,
absolutely. That's the one we go to.
North Star Cafe,
Yeah,
Brassicas.
Yeah.
So all of those places kind of accommodate.
Yeah.
And then of course they use top quality ingredients as well, organics and clean.
Yes. I'm trying to think of the one, True Food Kitchen.
Like
that one
my
too.
husband's is not his favorite, but
you can eat there.
Yeah.
There's offerings for people that have those allergies, those darn allergies.
It's frustrating. I can remember taking my grandmother once, and she had heart problems and she couldn't have like a lot of salt. So I'm naming all of my things, and then I'm saying all the things that she can't have. And we were just like, oh my God.
Did they say,
wait, like, why did you come here to
ice
eat?
water?
Yeah.
Did you like ice water and a coffee black?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean?
And we're not sure if it's cross-contaminated either. So
Oh gosh, that's scary. I know. So I wish I would have thought to to put pictures back here in the reel so that we could show. But you guys can come to my book signing on May 10th and see what she does, because it's phenomenal and it tastes so good.
I love it.
How
so
long
much.
have you been doing this? How long have you been Chef Maria?
Let me say, a chef. I don't know, 10
years?
15 years.
15 years.
15 years I've had my own catering company.
Okay.
A little more than that, maybe even.
Okay.
I started out in hospitality at 19.
Wow.
So
I don't
even want to say how old
Are you
that is.
from Ohio?
Yeah.
Are you
Jackson.
from Jackson?
I grew up in Jackson, and I moved here when I was 19.
Okay. And so you worked in hotels?
Well, I worked, restaurants.
Okay. So it's just
I did work in hotels
Okay.
before.
Okay.
In food service.
Okay.
But to some degree, so a server,
okay.
host, all the things at a restaurant that you can imagine. All the things you can imagine. And then
what at what point okay, so tell me all the things. I have no idea.
Okay.
I really don't. So you at 19, hospitality industry.
Sure.
And then
probably roughly maybe I was 30.
Yeah.
When I started a catering company. I worked at a small bed and breakfast locally.
Okay.
And she was an amazing cook. And she said, I think you have the gift for this. Just let me teach you. And I was like, okay. And so I just learned.
Okay, but how do you design all the place? Like, what happened? You're a very creative person.
I have no idea. If you want me to be 100% honest, I have no idea how it happens.
So no one gets any tips here.
I don't know. I don't know when I started. Now, listen, there are certain like dynamics.
I feel like
food.
you need to come over.
Oh, sorry.
So we can see you. She keeps going farther away.
When I'm designing something, I want it to have, I always want to like accompany the vibe. So I'll ask anybody who I do an event for, like, give me your color scheme. Give me any ideas that you have at all. And then I'll run with them. I want the food to match that vibe. I want it to feel the same. So when you're walking into an event that has, they have, for instance, I'm doing one that they're a bridal shower that's florals. I will always tailor my food to accompany that. So I would order special flowers to like match.
For this one?
Oh, we're going to. I was going to ask you.
Because the Radiant Reset. So we have 3 books. If you guys want to, buy the books when you come, there's 3 different books, but the one I'm focusing on is the latest one. It's Radiant Reset. So it's not about me right now, but that's, oh gosh,
stunning
producer,
peacock.
But peacock feathers, because it's about
gorgeous.
And all the women in this book. So it's a collaborative with a bunch of women authors from around the world. And they talk about how they've come into themselves. how they have found themselves along the way. And I think that if it's a radiant reset, we need the radiance of brighter colors and maybe the peacock feathers.
Yeah, I
Go
love
with it. That's all
I'm
you
doing
So I don't
it.
care what you do.
I'm doing it. We hadn't
just-
discussed this until now.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
it's here. So
So
we get to
totally
see the
doing that.
magic happen.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that's
Yes.
so fun.
We'll video it.
We'll video it.
Yeah, I'll do.
But I mean, whatever you need, tell me, and I can always go get it.
Sure.
Do you visualize it first? This is Christy asking a question. Do you visualize it first how you want it to look, or you do it as you go along? Ooh, that's a good question.
So I actually have a basic vision, but when I'm like doing a cheese board, for instance, I do it in the moment. I don't have any super plan. I will take a number of items with me as far as like props and, scale. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Like levels, things that you can sit things on top of. And then I just build while I'm there.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually a great tip for everyone listening that does entertain. You can be amazed at how, if you just have everything sitting flat and if you just lift a few pieces and then flowers another level, it just makes things more interesting.
Absolutely. Yes.
And that can change the whole vibe of the layout of your food.
Yeah.
Right.
It's sculptural,
Yeah.
like you want it to have like interest and the levels change that completely.
I mean,
I do love florals.
You did a baby shower that I was at.
I really love that table.
And I really did.
Well,
I mean, her island is granite.
Yeah.
So we didn't, I like I was helping. We didn't really have to do that much with the granite, but I was watching, you saw me. I'm like, that looks, but then the food, like I'm craving it right now. Like my mouth's watering. Yeah. So good.
Crab.
So, we're going to be getting, everything is and it's not crab dip like that you've ever had before. It's different because you make it.
I do.
You don't just, oh my gosh.
Yes. I don't use any mixes or anything like that. I do everything from scratch. Yeah. But I do think that's God-given. I don't think that that's something that I could necessarily teach in the way that I just had a friend ask me, like, couldn't you show me how to do this? There are principles that go along with understanding, like a cheese board, for instance. You want a salty cheese or something with crunch. You want something sweet. You want you want those
complements
things.
With one another.
Absolutely. Okay. So there are like basic, but you can learn that from anywhere. Like Pinterest can tell you that.
Sure.
But as far as like the artistic thing, I think I just look for, things to kind of consistently flow, so like throughout the board you're gonna have color
flowing around the island the entire time. I kept saying, and I was taking care of drinks for people in the kitchen, but I strategically placed myself by the island with the food, and I'm just like, you need a drink, and I'm like,
that's such an honor.
Oh gosh, it was
because you're so gifted.
Oh well,
I don't have. Listen,
I mean, we all have our gifts for sure.
You can dress a body, right? It's very similar.
Yeah,
where the eye looks at things, from like top to bottom with an outfit. You want like something up here, you want that color to continue down the person's body. So you
want to be able to fit the body,
you want to enhance the eyes, you want to like those kind of things, and you know how to do that. So you are an artist. It's just don't recognize it.
I do have a creative mind. Like I think of a lot of things. I can't always do it. Like I'll have to call somebody else, like Maria.
Yeah.
But then though I have these visuals of what I want, sometimes that I can't make it happen, but I will make it happen as long I'll just call somebody that can do it. Well, but I mean,
that's brilliant.
And I love
true
I am a mean sucker with the hot glue gun, girl. I can put all kinds of stuff together with the glue gun.
I love it.
It's so funny. But yeah, I mean, I am a believer too in absolutely everybody has their own gifts, and we can't be jealous of what other people have, because you got to take more time instead of focusing on other people. This is my kids always say, is there always a lesson in everything? Yeah, kind of, but it's true. We got to focus more inside.
There really is, because
there's so much that you may have to offer that you aren't letting out and sharing with the world because you're too worried about what someone else is doing.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to do what you're doing. I'm not going to cater. I'm not going to, and it doesn't bring me joy either. but you do.
Yeah.
You love it.
Well, and I can't imagine dressing people.
Yeah,
I
you
can't imagine doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a high stress situation for me, right?
If
I'm thinking it's like a wedding cake. I do I've done wedding cakes before.
that would
and
be
only
high
for people that I
stress.
really love.
Oh,
Like I
okay,
have to really
wow.
love them. Like I have to very much love them because it is the most stressful thing
Have
I've
you
ever
ever
thought
had
of.
a bad situation with a
No. I'm
Ugh.
very OCD, so like I visualize all of the potential problems long before they could
Oh my
ever
God,
happen.
you probably don't sleep for 2 months.
Well, actually, the night before any event, I never sleep. I can't sleep, and my brain is just going like 1,000 miles a minute. And the day of, I'm like a robot. I cannot stop. Like, and it's I'm like in a trance. I know it sounds
Does
so
anybody
bizarre.
else? Is anyone else like? Do you do that? Well, when I was in Junior Civic League and we'd have events. I couldn't sleep the night before because I'm like, I remember this. I'd have a note with like all the stuff so I could check.
Absolutely, yes. And then I'm just thinking the entire time. Like my brain just won't shut off.
Well, I'll probably
my body's
do that for May
exhausted.
10th because I'll be like the night before.
But
be
you
going.
Won't need to.
Yeah, because you got
I
it.
will be.
But then
you
I
will be
have
fine.
cash and carry items, but all my girlfriends are like, "I'll help you." I'm like, "Okay, I really am going to take the help because if I'm, I want to talk to people and
Absolutely,
sign books or whatever." So
yeah,
that
is when you
come.
employ the friends. Yes,
Yeah,
you bring that. You bring it.
You
do have the best.
I
group.
do.
I mean, you are so blessed.
I am
truly.
blessed. I feel so
some beautiful people
lucky.
in your group. Yeah,
very grateful and thankful and all those good things. But so you're doing all of this stuff. You're a mother to your own children and a mother to your husband's previous. So how many you have?
We have four children together. Two girls. No, we have all together. Yes,
all together. Okay.
So we each had a daughter when we met, and then we had two boys together. We have two girls and two boys.
So your daughter is the one that has is it your daughter's child? That's your grandbaby, your new grandbaby.
No, that's my son.
Your son. Okay.
Yes.
I couldn't get it straight.
So I have 4 grandchildren right now, ranging from 11 to I guess she's 15 months. I think I said 14
what
months
is
earlier.
it? What is it like every time another grandbaby's born? It's just the older we get, you can appreciate things more, I think.
Well, I didn't have that time before. Okay. Like even when my first granddaughter was very little, I worked.
Yeah.
And when you run a business, you never stop working.
Yeah, that's true. You take it home. You
cannot. It's 24/7. And I watch those funny memes that they say like, like I didn't want to work 9 to 5, but now I work, 24/7. And it's true. You never stop dreaming or thinking about it or, working for it.
Things that need done.
Yeah.
You're the one.
It never stops. So, but I love it. At the same time, there's a lot of beauty in that work.
Though, so you scaled way back. So you're just doing the reason you're available is because you've scaled way back. Because back in the day, I wouldn't have been able to get you on a Saturday.
No,
I was like, woo!
Yeah,
but I mean, it was still a couple months.
For sure. And a lot of times I did special events like on the weekend of Mother's Day. So I would never be available for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, lucky us. She will be here for us.
Well, and I feel very blessed to do things like this. Like this is really when life gets good, when you can do things because they feel so wonderful to do, or you're supporting somebody that you genuinely care about or a cause, or, so when life is so busy, it's hard to do that.
Well, that's true. And I think that's when you make it slow down. It was your choice.
It absolutely was.
But you took that. Why did you do that? What happened? What made you scale way back?
I moved into the Postmark and was doing events there. We opened for dinner service. We did that for a few months. And then just the business side of working two different businesses in the same facility was just so complicated.
I bet.
And I just evaluated and said, listen, if I'm not going to do exactly what I'm loving and it feels heavy and overwhelming, then there's just no point.
Wow. So that's a good lesson too. I mean, really check in on yourself and see how you're feeling. And it was sucking the joy out of something that you love to do.
Absolutely, yes.
So do you have anywhere that you're working out of now?
No.
So that's awesome.
I have a friend who I use their kitchen when I have small events.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Awesome. Do you see yourself ever getting back into
I don't
What
know.
do you visualize?
I will say this. I have this beautiful shop in my mind. I don't know if I'll ever do it. I have no idea if I'll ever do it or not.
Okay.
You and I talked about a
Yes.
project, a
Yes.
potential project, and
Yes.
I don't want to talk about that yet.
No,
'Cause
we will
I
not
feel
talk
like we-
about that.
But I think that's definitely going to happen.
Okay.
Just because I feel like our conversation
Mhm.
was confirmation
Mhm.
that I should be doing that. And I think that was God led. You know, like I've thought about it for years, if I'm honest.
Okay.
But
so we can tell them this though. We're on this phone call and I felt called, and I do things like this sometimes, but I listen to my intuition a lot. And the older I get, the more I do. And I can freak my daughter out sometimes. But I was like, I want to tell her something that I'm thinking about, that I feel called to tell her. And then I said it to you and you kind of didn't say anything for a second. And then you go, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about doing this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then we both had goosies over the phone.
We did.
And then
I cried after our conversation.
Aww.
Because I thought, wow, God, you're so amazing that you would
I was your
then
messenger.
Confirm. Yeah.
And
we never know when we're doing that.
We really don't know. Like and when you feel like you really need to say something to somebody, something you feel, you got to say it because it may be God telling you to say it. And then, and I did. And then when I got that response, I was like, oh, and then we were like, oh my gosh. But then you said later that day, you talked to a really good friend.
Yeah.
And it was just more confirmation.
Yes. It was just so bizarre the whole day. And then I spent half the day crying. I don't know.
God.
You know, when you get a woman of a certain, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, you tend to cry a little bit more than you used to, you know?
Yeah.
And I just spent the whole day like, oh my God, you were just so good. I can't believe that this was, you know, and I was just a normal day in my PJs, you know, and you called and I was just drinking coffee in the morning. No, like nothing special. And I was drinking
coffee at my house too. And then
nothing special. I just had, and it was just one of those days where things come together and you're like, yes, this is what I should be doing.
Oh, and she's going to do it. And then she can announce it. When you decide you want to do what you're going to do, come back on and announce it.
I will.
And then it'll be our follow-up tape. It'll be like,
and we'll have information by then. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have information. Okay. Oh, you guys aren't going to believe it. It's a big deal. So it's so cool. All right. So what else do we want to talk about? So the thought of perhaps doing that in a shop too, your own, and you have it visualized.
I have a vision for that,
maybe.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm getting to this place where then that's that push and pull between what I love doing right now and doing, like I said, the small events that I love for people that I love and I care about. I love to be available for those. And then keeping my granddaughter, it's just like so
that's
fulfilling.
Part of your life. I mean, you get her how many days a week?
4.
4 days a week. She's has the little 15-month-old little girl.
And she's so gorgeous.
I bet you just
she's fun and amazing. Yes.
Kiss that
she's
little
learning
face.
And, you know, just the things that they you know, they blow a kiss and you're like, if they've never done that before, or they sleep in the crib for the first time, or, you know, like I've been writing those things down as well. So I can remember, you know, and when they happened. But yeah, I love it. And I hate to give any of that time up because she's only little once.
Yeah.
You know?
Gosh,
and this time,
true.
And I've read, you know, about imprinting, you know, when you imprint on a child, and that's so vital. And, you know, when you get to be this age and an older person, you start to realize like I have less time in front of me than I have behind. Like I want to just do the things.
We're playing on the
just
back
want
nine.
to do the things that I love.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to push to be, and I think we've lived in a culture for so long of like hustle, you know, fake it till you make it, keep going, all of those cliche things that we tell
have made up
people,
in our mind to believe to be true.
And you're working 80 hours a week and then, you know, you miss a football game, you know, and I did that when I had my business. I missed some of my son's football. And the last year I got to attend all of his games, his senior year. And I thought, man, I'll never do that again.
Well, and then we have to remember too, you're the thing you yearned to be as a young girl was a mother.
It was.
So then this job, because a job is different than your life path and your career.
It is.
Was dipping into your soul's purpose.
Absolutely.
So you're like, Gotta
And while I
change
do
it.
feel connected to food, I feel like that connection of, caring for somebody during an event, like making their event special, making them feel cared for, that is important to me.
Oh yeah,
And
it shows.
and I do love it. But at the same time, like I brought these children into the world and they need me. And I think that your grandchildren are just your extension of that.
So let's talk about the imprinting, because my grandmother was that for me. And I literally think about her every day. There's something that happens that always makes me think of her. So explain what imprinting is.
It's just a connection, like a DNA connection that you get with another person.
And also,
and at a young age, it just has to, the imprinting happens during those vital years.
Yeah.
And they say that your personality is formed from 5 to 6 years old. Like that's when your personality is formed. And so that time frame is so short.
Yeah, it's precious.
And I ask myself, like, what would, if I created so many beautiful things for other people, but never did that for my family, would I be missing or would I be winning? It would definitely be a miss for me. If I got to the end of my life and thought, wow, I wish I would have cared for my own family more, because at the end of the day, I don't care how much money you have, what nice things you have. It doesn't make there's no value when you leave this earth.
Do we hear this? Can we say it again? Like, that is beautifully said and so true. I 100% agree. But then you do get in, sometimes we can get caught up in life like that, the rat
and I
race.
saw that, like I told you, I saw that podcast with your daughter today, and what a beautiful relationship you have.
Yeah, it's very honest.
And she talked about how, like you were a stay-at-home mom, and like, and I call my Debbie, like I get, and I thought, wow, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You don't get, there's nothing better.
And there are times as I was always a cheerleader for all of my friends who had careers, because I think that's amazing too, that you can have a family and you can have a career, and do it very beautifully together. I just chose not to. I just was in that. And if I'm being really transparent, I don't think I could have done either one well if I would have done both. I'm pretty much a focused person.
I'll be honest with you, you don't.
Really?
Because at some point your family always takes a backseat, because you're always trying to achieve in a business or in an office or whatever profession you've chosen. And you'll be able to work so many more days and your children are there. Like you get the 18 years and really, let's be honest, it's more like 13 to 15 years.
It is.
To really make a difference in their life, because they start to connect with their friends. So I have a friend who, she raised her children and then went to work. She always worked like some, small jobs or part-time. And she says, oh, maybe I did it wrong. Like maybe my career was, now that her kids are all grown. And I'm like, no, you did it right. You spent all of that time with them, because you never get that back.
Well, but too, I think this can happen when you're always there. You get in it's just, you go through the motions, and when you go and you work, and then when you come home to them, you make sure you're in the moment with them. That can happen too.
I can see that.
And because there are times where I'm just always there, and I took them for granted maybe sometimes, they obviously took me for granted sometimes too. So, I mean, it works both ways. I just think it's important that we really, when we're doing something, we're doing it and we're in it and we're in that moment.
I'm really very working on that with your kids though, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm an over communicator, they say. Let's talk about this. Oh, yeah. Yes.
I was dying, because that's exactly what my kids would say about me.
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to control the situation. Mom, stop controlling the situation.
So like what I said,
they called me a helicopter mom. Like how I did that while working so much. I have no idea, but I did
that would have been exhausting.
It was.
But it's funny, because it is a very honest relationship I have with my kids. And like I said, sometimes they'll tell me things that I don't necessarily love hearing about myself. But then if I really think about it, I'm like, that's kind of true. I got to work on that. So it's good that we can have open lines of communication, right? Yeah. But man, I was thinking about something earlier that I was going to ask you, and I said, so success without feeling fulfillment. Success without feeling fulfillment. That makes me think about, you missing the football game.
Yeah.
Where you're a successful chef and you can work and do as many events as you want. You could work in a fine restaurant if you wanted. But when you started missing things that meant something to you, you said, I'm successful, but I'm not fulfilled. Right? Or no?
I mean, yes and no. See, the food is, or, you know, what I do for work is fulfilling. But at the end of the day, it's not that deep fulfillment. It's caring for other people as opposed to like your own family.
Yeah.
Your own children, you know, knowing that they left you with all of the knowledge that you have. You know, when we were talking about the project that I was telling you about, I was thinking, what would I leave behind? What's the legacy that you leave behind?
What is the legacy you guys would leave behind?
And what is something that you could leave behind? And you were talking to me and you said, oh, well, this is in print and you would have that, you know, like that would be forever.
That's true.
And it's true.
Absolutely.
Right? So those things, so really in all honesty, they really come from like, I want my grandchildren to know about me.
Yeah.
So I think that, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right?
Life
fulfillment can be like, because we're always going to miss or wonder why, or you know, if I had this great career, but I never saw my kids, or if I always saw my kids, but you know, didn't have a great career, we're always going to question that. Just like my friend, you know, she says, maybe I did it wrong. No, you didn't do it wrong. You did it exactly how it was supposed to happen. But I think that sometimes we get caught up in the what ifs.
Oh my gosh, too. I heard something on, I don't even know what it was. Will Smith, because he's been buried under a rock, right? God love him, yeah. So
slapper heard around the world.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But he was defending his wife.
I know, but he said on an interview recently that a lot of people talk about rock bottom. He said, but then you got to think there's that top of the cliff bottom. He said, when you've made it and you feel like you're at the top of the world and you have all the things, and you have all the stuff you can buy, you can do whatever you want, but there's still a hole inside of you that is not filled. And what you're trying to find, and believe it or not, he said, find yourself. You got to find it inside.
Yes.
And through God and faith. And it is. And when you're constantly seeking outside of yourself, you're never going to find it. So, and we're all, and you know what? I'm still seeking and growing. You know what I mean?
That is the beauty of life.
Yeah,
right?
It is. And I always say, if I think I have it all figured out, go ahead and bury me, because what else? Where is there left the growth? Where is there left to grow? So I understand exactly what you mean by that. Yeah. Wow, that just sparked my memory, like thinking about Will Smith to slap you across the world.
Oh, poor guy.
I know. So I have to say, this has been great. We're going to do this again when you disclose and you're doing what you're going to do. But everybody I have on, I try to remember to ask the same question because the show is called Find It. So Lynn will probably pop it up here. What have you found in life that you can share with us to help us find it too?
God,
Take your time.
I wish you would have prepared me for this.
Like, I
would have had a much better answer. Like that bio took me hours to write, and I had like erased it.
But you know what? It was short.
Because you don't want to be boastful, but you also don't want to be like.
You don't want to be like, yeah, come talk.
Yeah,
to me.
like not like you know, no big deal. I don't care anything about anything I've done. You know. So what can you do to find it?
Yeah. So
I mean,
what have
I have
you
just found
in life?
so much beauty.
Yeah.
In the little things. It's the little things that really make up the beauty of this life.
Yeah, the big successes and all that are great in the moment.
In the moment, it's the little things. It's the day-to-day thing. Like my granddaughter sleeping in her crib for the first time.
Yeah.
Or, you know, your kids scored a home run at their baseball game.
Yeah.
Those are the big things that we don't value as the big things until we maybe get a little older.
Oh my gosh. And then we look back. I mean, have you done that like with your kids too? Like,
of course.
And you look back at those pictures, that Facebook memory, they pop it up and you're like,
they kill me.
They kill me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a beautiful time of our life. Yes. Did I really fully appreciate that?
Yes. But
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, do we really appreciate everything in the moment? No. But it is the retrospect that we can see those things.
It is retrospect. Yeah.
So pay attention for the little
Pay
things.
attention, like in the
To the
moment.
little
And those
things.
times where someone comes up to you and tells you something because they feel called to. And I had it happen to me today that someone sent me a message through my sister, and I don't know her very well, but it was a message I feel like that was divinely guided for me. And it meant the world to me. Like, I'm going to start crying. I mean, it was beautiful.
Good.
So, and I take that as it's not just a random comment to me. It's something that she doesn't even know me that well, but she took the time to deliver a message that she felt called to give me. And I certainly appreciated it. And I thought, wow, it was really needed right now too.
Yeah.
We all have a lot going on, and I don't go on and on about it, but I do have some things going on in my life, with my parents aging and other things. So it's nice to hear good things from
Yeah.
people that inspire us to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
the little things.
The little things.
The little things.
It is the little things. It's the little moments.
Things
Yeah.
and the moments.
It's the little flower that
Yeah.
you pop on top.
It is.
It's the little. It's the
It's
little
all
things.
the details that you
It's the
add.
jewelry.
It is.
Yeah.
You got
For
it's,
you. It's the
yeah.
jewelry.
It's like you got to
It's
add a
the
little
words.
It's the words. It's the
yeah.
words on a page. And
Yeah.
what I was going to say though is your bio that you had written. It's very difficult to write something short. It's very easy to drag on and on. It's very difficult. Yours was short and sweet and to the point, and it made me want to get to know you even more, even though I already know you. But I'm thinking, like, if I would have read that bio, I'd be like, I want to go watch her. I want to see what this cat has to say.
I love that.
So, all right. Well, then with that, you guys, we've got our last question in. And don't forget, if you want to come taste her delicious food and see the books that we have for that I've been either involved with or have written, we would love to have you join us on May 10th right here at the Folk Block Building. And
Please come.
Yes, please
support
come.
This beautiful lady's
Thank
book.
you so much. I think I really appreciate you. Oh, it's so good. And it starts at noon and it's over around 3-ish. But if you're here longer, I'll be here. So anyway, have a great night. And I hope to see you again very soon. I hope not to be a stranger for the podcast scene, trying to get back into it as much as possible. So with that, have an amazing evening and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
That floats around me, keeping me safe and sound.